Hello everyone, now we've got a really important question here. This is like what we call a capture-recapture question. So it says Maria wants to find an estimate for the number of frogs in a lake. On Saturday she catches 40 of the frogs and she puts a tag on each frog and releases them. Then on Monday she comes back and catches 55 of the frogs and finds 11 have got tags. Work out an estimate for the total number of frogs in the lake. You must show all of your working. So basically, we have got here, let's have a look. So Saturday and Monday. So on Saturday, Maria catches a total of 40 frogs. Okay, so she puts 40 frogs. And this is out of the total number of frogs that are in the lake. Then when she comes back on Monday, she catches 55 frogs. And she finds that 11 of them have tags on. Okay, so that's what I've done. So that's our sample size. That's the total number of frogs in the lake. That's the recapture number of frogs that had a sample, had a tag rather, and that's the number of frogs in the second sample. Now what we can do is we can basically say that we're assuming that this is a representation of the proportion of the frogs in the lake. So that over that is the same as that over that. So now we can cross multiply to find out what x is. So we're going to say 11 times x equals 40 times by 55. So therefore x is equal to 40 times by 55 divided by 11. Let's see what that gives us. So 40 times by 55 divided by 11 gives us 200. So we're assuming that there are 200 frogs in the lake. So that's part A done for 3 marks. Really standard capture-recapture question that. State an assumption that you've made. There's loads of things that we can basically, they'll accept. But I think that the most important one is that the number of frogs are evenly distributed throughout the lake. Okay, so that's what I would think. The number of frogs is evenly distributed throughout the lake. That seems to me to be the most sensible. However, they will accept no frogs have left the lake or arrived at the lake. None of the frogs have had their tags fallen off. Distributed evenly. There's no baby frogs that have been born or older frogs that have died. I mean, it goes on and on. It's crazy. But I personally would go with, I think the most important one is to assume that the frogs are evenly distributed throughout the lake. Okay, question 19. What does it say here? It says the diagram shows a cone. The radius of the base of the cone is 3/4 of the height of the cone, and the total surface area of the cone is 54 pi. Work out the height of the cone. Okay, so let's have a little sketch of our cone and get some labels on here. There is our cone. Now, what do we know about this cone? Let's have a look and have a think. So they're saying that the radius is 3/4 of the height. So let's say we're going to call the height h then. And the radius is therefore 0.75, or we could call it 3/4 of h. The radius at the base of the cone is 3/4 of the height of the cone. Yes. Now, the total surface area of the cone is 54 pi centimeters squared. So the surface area is going to equal pi r squared, which is the base, plus pi rl, which is the curved surface area. Okay. So we could do with thinking of an expression for, this is good. We know our h, we know an expression for h, we know an expression for the radius, but we definitely need to know an expression for the slant height. And we're going to use Pythagoras for that. So we're going to say that the slant height, what I've called L, this distance here, is equal to the square root of h squared plus, let's write it as 3/4 h squared. Okay, so that's our expression for L. It's the square root of h squared plus 3/4 of that. Now we could probably simplify this, because that is h squared plus 9/16 h squared. And then we can think of h squared as 16h squared over 16 plus 9h squared over 16. which then in turn we can add that to get 25h² /16 square rooted. Oh, that's handy, which is the same as 5h/4. Okay, so we've got a nice expression there, 5h/4 for L. So L is, and all of this working here, just kind of put that together there, is 5h/4. So now we can come and find an expression. Let's look at our surface area equation now. So we're told that the surface area is 54 pi of the whole cone. Now that is the base, which is pi r², which is pi times by 3/4 h², plus pi rl, pi times by 3/4 h, which is r, times by l, which is 5h/4. Okay, so that looks good. Now, notice there's pi in every one of those three terms, so pi can cancel. So we can say we've got 54 is equal to 9. When we square 3/4 h, we get 9/16h², plus, that's going to be a h and a h there, so that's going to be something h². Okay, and we're going to have 3 times by 5 is going to be 15, and 4 times by 4 is going to be 16. Okay, so we have got that this is going to be 24/16h² is equal to 54. All right, looks good. So now what we need to do is times by 16 and divide by 24. So 54 times by 16 divided by 24 is equal to h². So 54 times by 16 is equal to 864. Divide that by 24, and that gives us 36. So therefore, 36 is equal to the height squared. So the height is therefore equal to plus or minus 6. But it makes no sense to have a negative height. So the height is going to be 6. There we go, centimeters. 6 centimeters is the height of the cone. All right, quite a nice question there, I think. So basically, it revolved around using Pythagoras to find out what L was there. Then once we'd done that, we subbed into the formula for the surface area of a cone. Okay, very good. Let's see what's next. So that's question 19. Question 20 comes after 19. Right, a nice pair of solving simultaneous equations where one is a quadratic. Now notice, very, very important point in this particular question. It says, give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. Now what that's telling me straight away is that when I sub one into the other, the equation that I'm going to get is not going to factorize, okay? So that's a really important thing to note. So what have we got? Now you can't solve equations like this where one of them is a quadratic. You can't solve them by elimination. You need to sub one equation into the other. And we've got 2 different ways we can choose to do this. I don't think it really matters how we choose to do it. So I'm going to say that if y plus 2x is equal to 7, I'm going to say that y is equal to minus 2x plus 7. So I've just taken that 2x over to that side. And I'm now going to sub that into my equation. So instead of y², I'm going to write minus 2x add 7 squared is equal to 3x² plus 4. So we can expand this now. So that's going to give me 4 x² minus 14x minus 14x plus 49 is equal to 3x² add 4. So 4x² minus 28x plus 49 equals 3x² add 4. So now we can take off those x², just leaving us with just x². 4x² take away 3x² is just x². And then we're going to have minus 28x, and we're going to have plus 45 when we take 4 off both sides equals 0. So that's our quadratic that we have got that we now need to solve. x squared minus 28x add 45 equals 0. Okay. So I think we've got to show there's bound to be method marks for our working, so even though it's only a 4-mark question. So let's just do the old faithful, actually, do I want to do the quadratic formula, or do I want to do, yeah, we'll do the quadratic formula. So x is going to equal minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So therefore x is equal to minus 28 plus or minus the square root of minus 28 squared. Notice that's in brackets, very important. B squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times by c, which is 45. Okay, all over 2 times a, which is 2 times by 1. So x is therefore equal to minus 28, which is just 28. And then we have 28 squared minus 4 times by 1 times by 45, okay, which gives us 604. So we've now got plus or minus root 604 over 2. So root of 604 is 2 root 151. Okay, so that is going to equal 28 plus or minus 2 root 151 all over 2. So we can halve that, and we can think of that as 14 plus or minus root 151. So x is equal to 14 plus or minus root 151. Okay, so yeah, so we need to solve these and give them correct to 3 significant figures. So that's our values for x. So let's come up here where we've got some more space. So x is going to equal 14 plus root 151, that's one value, or x is going to equal 14 minus root 151, sorry, is going to be our second value of x. And these need to go into, let's put them into this y equation here. Y is equal to minus 2x plus 7. So therefore y is going to equal minus 2 times by that answer there, plus 7. And the same here, y is going to equal minus 2 times that answer there, plus 7, like so. And let's see what that gives us then. So 14 plus root 151 is 26.288. So that is 26.288. Now let's put that answer into, we're going to times that by 2. Okay, so that's going to go to 52. And that's going to be, let's put a minus in front of it. There we go, minus 52, point that. And then it's going to have plus 7. So plus 7, that gives us minus 45.57. So that's our x and that's our y is equal to minus 45.58. We'll do the accuracy in one moment. Let's come over here and do the other one. So now we have got 14 minus root 151 gives us 1.711. So that is x is equal to 1.712, I think it is. And then we're going to put that into the formula 2 times x minus 2 times x add 7. So we're going to say that number times by 2. Okay, and then we're going to put a minus in front of it. Oops. So it's going to go to 1.712 times by 2 is equal to, and we're going to put in a minus in. Now that gives us a y value of 3.57. Now we've just got, it says give your solutions correct to 3 significant figures. So each one needs to be 3 significant figures. So this first one here, x to correct to 3 significant figures, is going to be 26.3. So that's going to be 26.3. This y value is going to be minus 45.6, minus 45.6. This x value is going to be 1.71, and this y value is going to be 3.57. So giving everything correct to 3 significant figures, those are our final answers for that one. Perfect, really good questions there. Well, I hope you're finding these videos helpful. Remember, if you are finding them helpful, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, that's going to help me keep on making more videos. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.